Do you remember the question? No, don't ask it yet. Do you remember the question?
Oh, yeah. I do.
Okay. She's going to ask you the question. I'm going to go get my iPad so I can see your comments. Okay. Ask the question.
Yeah, I'm taking over the show.
Oh, God.
Okay, is it easier to help someone you like or someone you don't like?
That is an excellent question.
This is my show.
Oh, okay.
Get
so
off my show.
I'm your helper?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm the helper. Wow, you are centered in there. Okay.
Exactly.
I leave for 30 seconds and the kid takes over. Okay. That's okay. This is a kid's moment. Okay, so I'm pulling up Facebook because what we want you to do is typey answer in the Facebook window. Is it easier to help someone that you like or someone that you don't like? Is it easier to help someone who's nice to you or easier to help someone who's mean to you? These are the questions that we would love to, hear your answers on. And if you have a story to go with it, that would be cool too. I am pulling up our Facebook page. And meanwhile, my child is doing I don't know what when I'm not looking at the camera. Are you seeing what she's doing? Because I'm not, so I hope it's acceptable. Are you dancing? Are you dancing? Guys, my Facebook's not working. It's not working, so I can't see your answers. We're just gonna move on and hope that at some point the internet decides to fix itself and my child will stop dancing.
I don't know I'm dancing.
Oh, there we go. I see us. Okay. So, Misty, I see ya. If someone else is with us, I have no idea because I can only see one person at a time. But thank you if you're joining us. Okay, so just to repeat the question before we read the Bible story one more time. Is it easier to help someone who is nice to you or someone who's been mean to you, someone you like or someone you don't like? And this is going to play into the story today because today we are reading a story called A Little Servant Girl and the Proud General. And for you grown-ups who are following along, this can be found in 2 Kings chapter 5. This is the Old Testament.
It's old like him.
But not quite. I'm not quite as old as the Old Testament.
Sure.
All right, so now you're going to read the Bible story. And I will show the pictures and you'll read the story. Ready, set, go.
Oh, okay. I need to be Okay, you guys can barely see me, but that's all right. Naaman was a very important.
I'm pointing. You read.
Naaman was a very important man in a very important army in a very important country. So, you see, he was very, very, very important. But Naaman was sick. He had leprosy, which is a nasty thing that stops you from feeling anything. Bits of you fall off without you noticing, like bashed fingers and squished toes. It might sound funny, but it wasn't. And Naaman certainly wasn't laughing. There was no cure. It never went away. And in the end, it killed you. Naaman needed help. Now, there was this little slave girl who worked for Naaman. And she knew someone who could help him. But there was a problem. Naaman was her enemy. Not long before, Naaman had led an army raid on her home in Israel. He had killed her whole family, carried her off to Syria, and made her into his slave. Every night she cried herself to sleep. She had lost everything. Why would she, of all people, want to help Naaman? Didn't she hate him and want to hurt him back? Didn't she want to make him pay for what wrong he'd done? That's what you would expect. But instead of hating him, she loved him. Instead of hurting him back, she forgave him.
All right, see there he is with all of his bits falling off, fingers and toes, and he's got all the leprosy spots all over him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and there she is praying. Okay, turn the page. All right.
I want Naaman to get well, she said to her mistress. There's a man in Israel Israel, called Elisha, who can heal him. I'll go, said Naaman, loading up his wagons and putting on his flashing armor, but I'll go to the palace because that's where some important people like me get healed. So he hurried off to Israel and went straight to the king. My healing, please, he announced. I can do lots of things, the king replied, but only God can heal. Just then, a message from Elisha arrived. Send Naaman here, it read. So Naaman hurried off to Elisha's house. But Elisha didn't even come out to greet him. He just sent a servant instead. Doesn't Elisha realize who I am? Naaman thought.
Turn the page.
Right, did you show the pictures?
Oh, the pictures. There's Naaman and all of his riches going from his home to the king. And the king said, nope. So he left the king and he went all the way to this little tiny place where Elisha lived.
So tiny.
Turn the page. Okay. Ew, this page looks gross. Okay, tell us what's happening.
But what the servant said next made him even crosser. Wash in there, he said. Just wash? Naaman laughed. In that slimy, stinky river? He looked around to see if this was some kind of joke. It wasn't. Any person can wash in a river, he thought. I am Naaman. I'm important. I should do something important so God will heal me. And he rode off in rage. Of course, you and I know that's not how God does things. All Naaman needed was nothing. It was what Naaman didn't have. God knew Naaman was even sicker on the inside than he was on the outside. Naaman was proud. He thought he didn't need God. His heart didn't work properly. It couldn't feel anything. You see, Naaman had leprosy of his heart. God was not going to heal Naaman's skin. He was going to heal his pride. Did you show the picture?
Yes, we saw the grossness. It's gross.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Okay. Oh, wait, he's not gross anymore.
Yeah.
Tell us how that
and
happened.
He has fingers.
Oh my gosh, all his fingers popped back. Okay, tell us what happened.
It's kind of creepy. Naaman agreed to wash in the river, and instantly his skin became smooth as a baby. Naaman wanted to pay Elisha. God healed you. You can't pay, Elisha said. It's free. And so it was a very sick man was healed, all because of a little servant girl who forgave him. Who knew? God knew. Sin was like leprosy. It stops his children's hearts from working properly, and in the end, it would kill them. Years later, God was going to send another servant to forgive as she did, to forgive all of God's children and heal the terrible sickness in their hearts. Their hearts were broken, but God can mend hearts.
Is that the end?
Yeah, that's the end.
That's the end. That's a good story. Okay, so that's the end of that story. Now, this little girl, she had an enemy, didn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah, who's the enemy?
it was Naaman.
Naaman, right. So imagine, if you're a little girl, imagine you're a little girl, and if you're a little boy, imagine you're a little boy. Imagine you're a kid, how about that? And someone comes in and takes you from your home and takes you to another country with another language, other kinds of food, another God, strange smells and sounds, and none of your family are with you. You don't even get to take your favorite blanket or your favorite pillow or anything, nothing. That's what happened to this little girl. And she was forced to be a slave for someone else. And she had a choice to either continue to love Jesus in her heart or to hate in her heart. But the Bible story tells us that hate is that sin in our heart, and that's what made Naaman's heart broken. And it was because this little servant girl chose to love and forgive that the leader of a whole nation, Naaman, got healed. Now, we live in a pretty broken world right now. And kids, I don't know what you're aware of. Parents, I don't know what you've talked to your kids about. Kids, I don't know what you've seen on the news or heard on the radio. But suffice it to say, regardless of what you know this world is pretty broken because you've had your feelings hurt before, right? You've probably cried because you were sad before. Some of you maybe have been bullied. And in the world, those kinds of things happen too. Maybe on a bigger scale, but they still happen. But they all happen for the same reason. They all happen because in people's hearts is sin. And sin helps us not feel the same way. It makes us be greedy and selfish. And sometimes it makes us hurt people. The only answer, the only fix for this problem in our broken world is forgiveness. And this little girl shows us that forgiveness can help heal people. And the way that we have forgiveness is that we have been forgiven by Jesus. That's how we know what forgiveness is, when we have been forgiven ourselves. And so I want to challenge you, children, and adults too, if you're listening, right? But children, I'm speaking specifically to you. You have the ability as children to let the love of Jesus rule in your heart the same way it ruled in this little girl's heart. That no matter what bad happens to you, you can choose to love and forgive instead of to hate and retaliate and get back at people. So the question that we asked at the very beginning is it easier to do nice things? Is that how we phrased it? Is it easier to be nice to?
Is it easier to be nice to someone that you like or to someone that you don't like?
Right. It's probably easier to be nice to someone that you like and someone who's nice to you. But God says that we should love and pray for our enemies. And that doesn't mean that we need to hang out with people who are mean to us all the time. If we have a bully, we don't need to hang out with them. But we can love them and forgive them and ask God to help their heart. And I think the world right now, as broken as it is in multiple levels, would benefit from a bunch of children who decide that they want to have love in their heart instead of hate in their heart, and that they would love people and pray for people. And just like that little girl's love and prayers for Naaman helped him have a healed body and heart, I think the same can be said for our world. So it starts with you, children, each and every single one of you, choosing to love Jesus and to love others. So that's the challenge today, is to think about the people who are more hard to love and to pray for them tonight. Tonight, Jesus tells you you should pray for your enemies. That's what the Bible says. So, with a dance move,
it's a way.
pray for your enemies.
Pray for your enemies. Hey!
Yep. And if we pray for our enemies, then our hearts will be changed, and their hearts will be too. And because of that, the world will be a better place.
The world will be a better place. This is the world. And then it's happy because it's a better place now.
I think we'll just end with that.
Okay.
You have the power to be world changers. So go love people and pray for people, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a good sign off. Is it doom finger again?
No, stop.
We never think this part through.
You can do things. Do things. Bye. No, stop.
I still have to press it off.
But you can't.
Doom finger.